Welcome everyone, just a killer song by Rick Derringer, forever linked with Johnny Winter. Johnny Winter put this out first on one of his albums, and Rick Derringer, who wrote it, put it out on his solo album, and it became a hit for him. Now, Rick's version's a lot more rocking. Johnny's is a little bit slower tempo and more bluesy feel, but both great versions. I mean, I just love watching Johnny Winter play it. So we're going to go through this. It's in standard tuning. I'll have my notes linked below, so you can click on that link and download the tab for it. And like I said, we're in standard tuning, and we're just going to rock out. So I want to say I worked this out for one guitar. There's multiple overdubs that Rick does in his version, and I think most of us just want to learn how to play the song. Rick does a couple things a little different live, and I'll show you that in case you prefer to do it that way. And we'll go over all the licks. We're going to start with the F power chord, and what we're going to do is slide from the 3rd fret on the 5th and 4th string up to 5, and then hit 3 again. We'll do that same sort of pattern with the next chord. It'll be G, hit twice, and then we'll slide up and then up to 7 and come back to 5. Right? Now again, talk about the differences. When Rick plays this live, he just tends to do, use his pinky. Alright, so that's an option for you. A lot of people play it that way. Sounds fine, but I really hear some sliding motion in the original recording. Alright, then we're going to come to really the main lick. We're going to hit A twice. Alright, and then we're going to palm mute 3 to 4 on the 5th string. Then we come down and hit 2 on the 4th and 3rd, still palm muted, and then back to 4. Alright, so palm muted part will be, then we're going to hit, without palm muting, 5 on the 4th and 3rd string to the 2nd fret, and then open, and 2 again. So it'll take just a few times of doing this. It really falls under your fingers well once you get it down and understand where the palm muting is, applying it versus playing the actual chords. So let's go from the A twice, then we'll palm mute before we go to the 5, 2, 1, 2. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. It really does flow. It's one of those licks. When I first learned it, I'm kind of like, oh God, this is tough. Coming back to the 4 before going to 5 to 2. I thought, oh, this is kind of awkward, but once I started playing it and doing it, it really fell under my fingers, and I think you'll have the same kind of eureka moment. Alright, so we got that kind of main A lick. Then we're going to come back with our F, and then to a C after we do that slide. And then come up to 5, slide down, alright, then we're going to hit 2 chucks, and then 3 and 3. And then what we do is hit the open 5th string to the 6th string at 3rd fret with a slight bend to open. Alright, so let's take it up to this point with a medium speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. So after we hit that open E string, we're going to come up to some octaves. Now, again, there's overdub guitars, and then once you go through this once, the bass comes in at a higher octave. So really what I found is sliding from the 5th string at the 4th fret and the 3rd string at the 6th fret up to 5 and 7 respectively. There's 5 times, then that bass octave comes in. You can just stay here because the bass is doing that other octave. It sounds fine. But if you want to, you can do this 4 to a 5 with the 6, 7. And then move it up on the fretboard, same notes. We're going to be at 11 on the 4th string and the 2nd string at 13. We'll slide that up a half step. Again, 5 times. So it's really your preference. Again, I found this sounding fine. Because the bass is taken over for that. Alright, so for the verse, we're going to be kind of chugging off the A, including the main lick. This is the lick and even the solo is all based in A minor, pretty much pentatonic. He does throw in a blue note here and there, but pretty much A minor pentatonic. And what we're going to do is hit the 5th string open. We're going to hit the 2nd fret of the 4th and 3rd once to open to back to 2. It's a very quick. And then what we want to do is hit that 5th string again, and then we'll come to the 5th fret on the 4th and 3rd. 5th string open, and then 7, and then back to 5. So we have this so far. Once we're back to 5, we're going to hit that open 5th string. And we'll go to the 7th fret of the 4th string, hit that twice, coming back to the 5th fret. Then we go down chromatically, 7, 6, 5, and then we'll go to 3 on the 5th string. At this point, we'll grab the 4th string at the 5th fret and slide to 7. So it's back to an A note, all right? So we have this. Alright, that's one time through. We'll go through the first part of the rhythm exactly the same. The lick just changes slightly. And then we'll do... When we get to this 3rd fret on that 5th string, we're just going to hit the A note on the 6th string. So that's the difference. We're sliding to an A on the 4th string the one time through the lick, and the 2nd time we're hitting the A. That's consistent. This will repeat. We'll do the slide, and then we land on 5 before we move into the chorus. All right? So let's go through one measure of the verse. We'll do the A's, 5s. We'll do the slide, the A's, 5, 7, and then end up on the 6th string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so again, that will repeat one more whole measure like we just played, and then we're into the chorus. The chorus, again, 1 and 2. After the 2nd chorus, it leads us into the solo rhythm. But chorus 1 and 2 are exactly the same again. They have some real similar parts to the intro. All right, you'll see the differences. So we're going to hit F twice and then 3 scratches, G twice, then 3 scratches, then our A lick. Now the second time through, we're going to do the slide in and back, and then from the F, then we'll come to our C and G, and then our A lick. We're not going to go to A and stop and do scratches. We're going to actually do the A lick and continue on to the next measure. All right, so let's go from the F for the second half of the first measure of the chorus. Now we repeat the first half. This second half just has a rest with some scratches that lead us into the octaves. All right, so the second measure, second half will sound like this. All right, so we're just resting after hitting the F twice, and then C to our G, and then actually you can hit the A and slide down. I see by my notes. And then we do our 1, 1, and then 3 and 3. And then our open 5th string to the 3rd fret of the 6th string bed to open. Our octaves, all right, we know that, and then we're into verse 2. I really think this would be a great heavy metal rhythm. Okay, but anyhow, I just had to mention that. All right, so we're into verse 2, then chorus 2, just like we learned. After the octaves, we're into the solo rhythm. Now the solo rhythm, the first 8 times through are exactly the same, and then we switch it up for a couple measures and switch it up again for a couple measures. The first 2 measures, which we do 8 times, you can really play all the way through. It'll sound fine, especially if you have somebody playing lead guitar and you don't want to kind of step on their toes trying to get this rhythm out there. But again, it's just what Rick did for the rhythm, so we'll go over that. The solo rhythm, again, this will happen 8 times or 2 measures worth. We're going to do basically the verse without the lick. Okay, that's a quarter measure there, or half measure there. So we do that 2 more times. That's 4, and then another 4. So that's 8. So that's the first 2 measures of the solo rhythm. He changes it up and we're still in that similar rock and roll thing, but what we're going to do is more of an A to an A6. So we're hitting the 5th string open with the 2nd fret of the 4th, and then we're going to hit the F sharp, which would be the 6th of an A scale. Once, it's sort of a, and then we do it again, but it's a little quicker. And then what he does is move up on the 5th string. He's going to hammer from 5 to 6 and 7, hit 5 on the 4th and 3rd string. Then he moves that up, 7, 8, 9, hitting 7. Then you're going to hear the 3rd string bent, or I'm sorry, 3rd fret of the 5th string bent, and then back into it. All right, and then the bend. So it's kind of funky, and another way to do it, because we're bending this C note, you can grab this C note up at the, what is that, 8th fret. So we're going to do our, if that's easier for you. I just sort of figured it out and moved here. Really doesn't matter. It's a C note bent. So either way, that will happen a total of 8 times rather than the other 2. So that's 2 measures worth. And then he's going to do this. All right, and then carry on. So what he's doing different at the beginning of these 2 measures is hitting the 2nd fret of the 3rd and 2nd string to the 4th on the 4th and 3rd string. And then the rest of the lick's the same. And then it's back to normal. Then again, we're starting the next measure. The very last part of this 2nd measure, you'll hear him do this. He'll hit the 2nd fret twice on the 3rd string to 4 on the 4th, back to 2 on the 3rd, back to the 4th string at 4th. Alright, the very last measure of this is a 2 on the 3rd string to 4 twice. On the that 4 will be on the 4th string. Then our twice on that 3rd string. And then we're into the verse. Everything, the solo stops and we start verse 4, which we already know. Alright, so that's verse, what is that? So, oh, I'm sorry, it's verse 3. My mistake. Alright, so after verse 3, we're to chorus 3, which is the outro. As I've noted in my notes, this is where my notes will really come in handy for you because, of course, it changes up. The change will do the 2nd measure. We're not going to do any octaves. We just come right back into it. So let me take you up to that part and then I'll talk about All right, then we can keep going. All right, but up to that part, we're going to do the F and G with the scratches to our lick. We'll do the 1 slide and then our C, G. Now we're going to go back to F and G with the scratches and then our A lick. Now we'll go to the holding the F before we do the C to G and then A slide down and scratches. Now we come back into it. The next 2 measures are exactly the same. It's just like the intro. The actual 4th measure will be very similar, all right, to sliding and then our C to G. We do that twice with the A in between. So we end, after doing those slides to C, G twice with the A note, we just end on a single F, G, and then A. And you can add the first and second string at 5 to your A chord. And you'll hear them slide up. Alright, so that's the end chords. Alright, we'll go over the solo next. You've got all the rhythm, and we'll talk about the solo, because really this is one of those solos. There's some parts you recognize right away. Other parts are just jamming, and it's really a song that's great for jamming in A minor, either pentatonic or blues scale. But we'll go over what he's doing, and again, it's in my notes. Again, we're pretty much A minor blues, so we're going to start out at, rather than 5, we'll add 12 to that. We'll be at the 17th position. What we're going to do is start out on the 19th fret of the 3rd string, bent up and catching 20 twice. Alright, so we hit that twice, and then we're going to hit 19 bent on the 3rd string, to 17 on the 1st string, to 20 pulled off to 17 on the 3rd, landing on 19 on the 4th string. I'm sorry, 3rd string. Then we come back to 17. Then 19's bent, and then hit it unbent. Then 17, 19, back to 17 with a slight bend. End up 4th string now at 19 with some vibrato. And then 17 on the 3rd string, slight bend. That's where you get that kind of recognizable part of it, other than the very beginning. Second measure will start out very similar. We're going to hit that 19 on the 3rd string, bent up with 20 on the 2nd string twice. Then we'll hit 19 bent twice. Then we catch 17 on the 1st string to 20, pulled off to 17 on the 2nd, back to 13, but then we come 17, 20, pull back off to 17 again, landing on 19. Back to 17. Alright, so we got this so far. Now we're going to pull off from 20 to 17 on the 2nd string 3 times. Landing on 19 on the 3rd, back to 17 on the 1st. And then we'll catch 19 bent up, released, pulled off to 17, landing on 19 on the 4th. And that's the second measure. So again, slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, at that point, we're leading right into the next measure. It's just, it took so long for the second measure to get to it. What we want to do when we land on the 4th string is come back to the 3rd string at 19, back to 4th string at 19. And then 17 to 19, 3rd string, and 19 bent up. To 17 on the 2nd and 1st, back to the 2nd. So it's kind of a Chuck Berry. Then we're going to grab 20 and bend it up, 3 times. The 3rd time we'll release to 17. And then catch 20 on the 2nd. And then just lay back down, pull off 20 to 17 on the 1st string twice, catching 17 2 more times. Then we come to the 2nd string, 20 pulled off to 17, 19 on the 3rd, back to 17, on the 2nd, 19, 3rd, 4th, back to 3rd. Then we go 17 on the 3rd, and then 19 on the 4th, pulled off to 17. It's a lot of numbers. That's why I write this stuff out for you guys, all right? So taking off from the very last measure, 19 on the 4th string, I'll go through this slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. At that point, we're going to do a very recognizable lick, and this is cool to put under your fingers. We're going to hit the 3rd string 17 to 19 on the 4th, and that's kind of our starting point. Because the next 4 times it'll be 17, 19 on the 4th, back to 17 on the 4th. Then we catch the 3rd and 2nd. 17 to 19, 17. Then just a 17, 19, 17. Alright, so the lead off and then taking off. Alright, and then we come back 17, 19, 17, one more time, back to 17, 19 with some vibrato and slide down. Alright, so let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, now we're going to change positions. We're going to go up to our 5th position and continue on with the next measure. So we'll be into, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th measure of the solo. So the next measure of the solo, we start out on the 5th and 4th string from 5, hammering into 7, and then we're going to hit 7 again on the 4th string to the 5th fret of the 3rd string twice, back to 7 on 4, and then 5 hammered into 7, going into a little Chuck Berry, 5 on the 2nd, 5 on the 1st, and then 2nd string 8 pulled off to 5, landing on 7. Again, I know it's a lot of notes, so follow me on this. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll come back to 5 on the 2nd string. Then we're going to take 7, bend that up, and catch 8 with the bend. Alright, we'll do that a total of 5 times. Alright, so all together, this next measure, 1, 2, 3, 4. Point, the next measure will start with 7 on the 3rd string, bent up to 5 on the 2nd, 1st, back to 2nd, then 8 pulled off to 5 on the 2nd string, landing on 7 on the 3rd, back to 5. Then we come up, we're going to add the blue note to the 3rd string. So we're going to take that 8, alright, that's the blue note right there. Then we'll pull off to 7 and then 5. Alright, so what we have to this point, we'll catch 7 on the 4th string to 7 on the 3rd, back to 5. Again, one more 7 on the 4th. Then we take 5, hit that once. And this took me a while to figure out what he's doing in this unison bends. And it takes a little practice to get it in your head, but once you do, it makes sense. We're going to hit 7 on that 3rd string. We're going to come back to the 1st string at 5, do a unison bend, alright, with the 7th fret of the 3rd string bent up. Alright, I'll just talk to it as each 7, we'll move up to 9, and then 10, eventually 12, and then 15. Alright, so The note in between will be that 5. Back to 5. Next, unison bend. Then we move up to 8. And unison bend. Back to 8. Then 10, 12. We'll hit 10 twice before we come up to 13 and 15. That's 5 times. So it's really different, but once you work on it, it kind of makes sense. If you do it without that extra note, it's fine. So with that extra note, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, excuse my mistake, but you see what I'm leading to then, okay? So we slide down after that, and then second to last measure will kind of be we're going to slide up and down and then do a run from the, let's see, 3rd fret up to our 5th fret position. The little run will start out hitting the 3rd fret of the 5th string, then we hit 5, slid up to 7, coming to the 4th string at 5 twice before we come back 7 to 5, and then 7 on the 5th. And then 5, 7 on the 4th to 5, 7, and then 7 again bent up, which leads us into a Chuck Berry move. This time we're going to hit 8 pulled off to 5 on the 1st string, landing on 5 on the 2nd. Again. Then we're going to slide from 5, well, really 8, slide to 11, and then catch 10, and then 10 with a pull off to 8. Alright, so up to that point, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so up to that point, then we catch 10 to 8 on the 2nd string. Alright, now we're moving into the last part of the solo. We'll hit 8, hammer into 10, and then 2 more times on 10 before we hit 8, and then 9 on the 3rd. We'll hit 9 again, slide back to 7. Then we catch 5 on the 3rd string to 7 on the 4th, back down to 7 and 5 on the 3rd. Alright, so we have this. Alright, at that point we're just going to walk down 7, 5 on the 4th, catch 7 and slide off on the 5th string. That ends the solo. Alright, so let's do those very last 2 measures together. I'll come in with the little slide down. That is the solo. Now, final outro solo over the A will be played in this 5th position. Sound like this. Alright, so what we're doing, Chuck Berry to begin, 7 on the 3rd string, bend up to 5 on the 2nd, 1st, back to 2nd, then 8 pulled off to 5 on the 2nd twice, landing on 7 on the 3rd string, back to 5. Now we're going to do this lick twice, 7 on the 3rd string, pulled off to 5, landing on the 4th string at 7. Come back to the third string at 5. Fourth string 7 pulled off to 5, landing on 7, back to 5 on 4. When we come back to this fifth string, we're going to pull off from 7 to 6, 5. Then 5 on the 8 on the 6th string, back to 5 on the 4th, 5 on the 5th string. Back to 8 on the 6th, and then 5 with some vibrato and slid down. Alright, so all together slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just a fantastic ending that, again, will sound great if any song that you want to end in A. So I really hope this helps everybody. Enjoy.